Hello, everybody. Rick DiClemente with Star Self and Astrology Unplugged, and I did about a 90-minute show on Facebook. It was wonderful, talking about the Pluto period, all these 15 years of Pluto. And she forgot to press record. So she's got it on Facebook, my friend Jennifer Belt, but we're trying to figure out how to get it over to an MP3 file and get it up and running. Welcome to Astrology Unplugged. Tonight's a little unusual because the planets are heavy duty right now. I have never seen the planets like they are now. Never. And I'm not exaggerating. 42 years of careful study. Let me show you why. Here's why they're so intense. All right, we're going to look at Kamala Harris. Also, I want to show you why the planets are so heavy right now. Some of you that have been with us have seen this. Okay, right now, you see Pluto's about 23, Capricorn. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. It's at 23. It'll be another couple of years before it leaves. And recently, Saturn was back at 23, and Saturn is now retrograding. It's going to go back and join it again. They're going to switch positions about 5 times. Okay, at the same time, Eris, the new planet, is sitting at 24. Eris at 24, Pluto's at 23. Here comes Saturn. Where's Mars? Where's Mars? I told you. Always know where Mars is. Mars is 1 degree away. Mars is 1 degree from hitting Eris. Mars always triggers when it's 1 degree away. If you guys haven't felt it in the past couple of days, I got to question your feelings. But if you have not felt the tension between Mars and Eris and Pluto and Saturn, these are really dangerous combinations, mainly because Eris is so new. But if you, I remember middle of yesterday, I started feeling feverish. My temperature, there was no temperature. I started to feel it. One of the clues to Mars is your fever always goes up. Your temperature goes up, almost always. It's one of the good things about raising a child as an astrologer. You'll feel their fever go up. You'll know it before Mars gets there. Last 2 days goes back down. Very, very common. But anyhow, these planets are very dangerous. They're also got a lot of good side to them, and I think you see a lot of really good things happening, such as with Black Lives Matter and what's been happening with the African Americans. And I really am pledging myself from now on to start using the phrase European Americans, because I'm sick of hearing about African Americans like we got to label them. Okay, so we got a bunch of European Americans on the show tonight. I'm going to keep remembering that because I'm sick of hearing it. All right, now, something about when the planets are this tight, I talked to you last week about we're getting informed by these new planets. Those of you that keep sending messages, I do not have the time to read them, so I want you to know that. Okay, welcome to you YouTubers who have joined us. When the planets are very heavy, yes, they cause huge explosions in Beirut, yes. They also cause huge explosions inside of us, but the explosion doesn't happen in 1 day. They're like detonated over a period of time. And if you can't sense that this detonation is taking place within all of us collectively over the last year, the last 6 months, you need to come up for air and take a look around because it's changing us. We're going through a dramatic change from Eris. And what is Eris about again? She can't stand things that are unfair. She can't stand things that are unjust. She will do whatever she has to do to solve it. And that's got a good side, it's got a bad side. But that's what Eris is doing. And now that was happening while Pluto, I'm going to make it short, in the United States chart in 1776, Uranus was in 1776 on the 4th of July, Pluto was right there. 256 years later approximately, Pluto has gone all the way around. It's about to return. It is, for all matters, it returns in February. For practical matters, it's already there. When a big planet returns, it's just massive because we're being tested. It's like the final. You're taking a final. Remember how you used to sweat your finals in college? Well, this is the final of finals. And we're being tested in terms of how we've been using our energy. Pluto wants you to use your energy for good, to transform people, to help them become stronger. Or you can abuse your energy. I got nothing else to say. While that's going on, Eris comes up here and Mars is with it. Now you see, the Pluto return is forming with Saturn next door, with Jupiter next door. Here comes Eris, now Mars. They're all at the same time. President's weak spot over here, opposite that point. So when you take a look at what these planets are doing right now, you can see the pressure that's happening between Pluto and Mars and Uranus and Saturn. And in the president's chart, I won't make it, I'll make it kind of simple here. The president's weak spot, I won't show his chart. The president's weak spot is right there. In his whole chart, the weak spot, his Venus and Saturn are here, opposite Pluto and Saturn, squared by Mars and Eris. When you got these kind of combinations, it's just too much is happening. So what's remarkable about this man, this imposter in the White House, is how he keeps dodging these bullets. He just keeps dodging all these things that are happening to him. And there are many, many, many reasons for it. The number one reason is it needs to happen because he's the ugly American and we're seeing ourselves in him. Anyhow, that had to happen. So that's got a good side too. Next story, because I got a lot going on tonight. Next story here. Okay, planets now. Miss Kamala Harris. I'm not going to do a great analysis of her chart, but she's the woman of the moment, and I want to show you what concerns me about her. I have a question. That does not mean I'm leaning positive or negative. I have a question, and I'm following it, and I will follow it till I know. I don't know. Let me show you what I mean. Miss Harris. Hello, Lauren. Nice to meet you. Okay. Here's Miss Harris's chart. All right, there she is. As you can tell, she is a Libra and a moon in Aries. So she's born on an exact full moon. Look at that. Within minutes of a full moon. I don't know if it was an eclipse or not. I have to look it up. She got Gemini rising, so she's a strong communicator. Now, when you have a Libra's chart, you have to be careful and you have to have other planets in the chart because Libra's temptation is very strong to become a social climber, to become insincere, to become a game player. Nobody plays the social game better than Libras. They're just smart. They're smart people. They're savvy. They're street smart. But you got to have help in the chart to keep them from being one-upping the Joneses. You got to have help. And if you're looking for a spiritual person, you almost always have to have help with Neptune. So one of the things we want to see when we analyze a Libra, because few are as strong as our last Libra, which was Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was way ahead of his time spiritually. The country couldn't keep up with him, and they had to label him weak, which was wrong. The guy's very strong. So what you want is you want one planet in Libra. You don't want too much there. You don't want too much stuff there to tempt them towards that. Libra is the Aries of the second half of the zodiac. That's part of the book I wrote. They're very competitive. They're very headstrong, the seventh sign of the zodiac. They're masters at social position. They're really good at being savvy. But let me show you what's going on. What we have with this woman is a Virgo. All right? I'll show you why. And I think that's really good. This woman has Uranus in Virgo, Pluto in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, all in the fourth house, all opposite Chiron. And I've stated where I believe Chiron is the ruler of Virgo. So you got a Virgo ruler opposite 3 planets in Virgo. So when she talks about we're going to go clean this up, we're going to get these things done, she ain't jiving. She's not jiving. She's got the credentials. She's going to get to work. She's not just talking. People are scared. She's going to get to work. What's Virgo want to do? Go clean up what's wrong. Go fix what's wrong. I think that's why he took his good old time picking his running mate, because he had to get the right person. I think he did. I'll tell you what concerns me. Let me finish. She's got a very strong Saturn near the top of the charts. It's at 28 degrees. So it's 4 degrees from the midheaven. So it's affecting the midheaven. This gives her a tremendous amount of managerial administrative ability at any scale, since it's in Aquarius. So she has the ability. She has the ability to do the down-to-earth work with all the Virgo. She's got the ability with the Saturn up there to think on a broad scale. She's got the ability to be savvy, socially savvy with all the Libra. So she's got the potential. Now, she got a moon in Aries. What do all the books tell you? When you're Libra, you need more Aries. When you're in Aries, you need more Libra. So it settles that. Why? Libra's me and you. Well, there's too much of us, not enough of me. So you need more Aries. What's wrong with Aries? It's too much of me, not enough of me and you. So you got the blend. The blend is there, and they're exactly opposite each other. That doesn't worry me. There's one thing that worries me, and I'm just not sure, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but I want to point it out to you, and you'll be able to sense this, and you'll be able to see it, keep your eye on it. And when these planets I'm talking about get hit, that's when you're going to get sub-chapters come out on this story. This is next Tuesday, the next full moon. So what you have here, you have Jupiter opposite Neptune, 24 degrees, 16 degrees. So it's 8 degrees, it's kind of wide. Jupiter opposite Neptune. Now, I've told you before many times, Jupiter and Neptune are the 2 planets that you find in people that are very spiritual. Even in the family of everybody's non-spiritual, the Jupiter-Neptune person will really be interested and drawn towards spirit. Now, the Jupiter-Neptune is really different. You have to study to see these things. The Jupiter-Neptune is really different when it's conjunct versus when it's square versus when it's opposite. What the president has, I'm not going to get into that. When it's opposite like she has, there's a real tendency to be a cult follower with Jupiter-Neptune square to Jupiter-Neptune opposition. There's a real tendency to take this feeling of spiritual interest and start to think that you are one of the chosen ones. Okay, that's why it's dangerous. And I watch many, many, many people that have it. Some of it don't fall for it, some of them do. I know some people that are just clueless with Jupiter and Neptune. And they'll just start talking this stuff to you like, okay, next page. All right. So you got to be careful. Even the worst of people with Jupiter and Neptune opposite or square, it still leaks through. They still have a spiritual interest. But is it healthy? Is it being expressed healthy? Is part of the negative part of the personality sneaking out through this? Are they hiding their ego within this stuff? So what I'm trying to say to you is that Jupiter and Neptune in the chart makes a T-square to Mars and Leo. So while both planets have an outlet to Mars and Leo, which is what sits right on the president's ascendant, Mars and Leo. You think I won't fool with the post office? Watch me. That's Mars and Leo. You think I won't do X, Y, Z? Watch me. So when she talks like that, she'll do it. I think that's one of the reasons he claimed her, if I may use that word. He wants somebody to go put their money where their mouth is. He got her. The problem is this, and I'm not going to say it's a problem, I'm going to say it's a potential problem. Jupiter, Neptune opposite itself is prone to being deluded spiritually. Secondly, we have a Libra. Libra people are not spiritual people. They're just not spiritual people. They're social people. They're really, really social people. They don't have an understanding of the spiritual realm unless they have strong Neptunes, etc. Now, what do these two planets do for an outlet? Because these two planets will fight. What's the outlet? Mars and Leo. So you come down here, you take a look. Here's the opposition. Here's the outlet to Mars and Leo, third house. Okay, that means that when she's getting lost spiritually, her outlet is to talk big. Mars and Leo, third house, mind, speaking. But remember, she's not just a talker. She got all that Virgo. She got the Saturn big in the sky. She wants to help people. I think she's going to be studied by a lot of people for a long time. I think she's going to be fine. I think she's got enough countering forces to keep it all in place. But I think that that's going to be her weak spot that they're going to pick on her. They're going to say she's arrogant. They're going to say that she thinks she's the chosen one. Already people are talking about she's going to run the nation. I don't know. I don't see this as an A-plus worry thing. It's something that's on my mind. I've seen much, much worse. The president's church, thousands of times worse. Okay, thousands of times. But I do want to keep an eye on that. I wanted to let you know. Any questions about her chart? I'd be glad to go into it. Yes, Miss Erica, you have to unmute yourself.
I think her sun is opposite her moon also. So how does that work?
I said she was born during a full moon.
So how does that affect her sort of personality versus her feelings?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer. I think I answered it first thing in general. In general, it's a good thing. What I don't like is I don't like planets exact, the orb exact, because they can't breathe. Well, in general, what happens is you would not notice until you study for years, but oppositions are usually pretty good, even when they're fighting, because they exchange each other. They exchange pieces with each other. A healthy banter. What I like about it is the Libra becomes kind of weak when it comes to asserting yourself. Well, she ain't weak with the moon in Aries and with the T-square to Mars and Leo. She's not weak. She's not weak with Saturn up the top of the chart in Aquarius. So she's going to be okay. The question is, can she contain the ego? Can she contain it? That's all I'm saying. And when Mars gets triggered, when the planets go by hit that Mars, that's when these events will happen. I think she's going to be okay. And in the light of things, considering the person she's running against, she looks like Lady Madonna. Okay, let's go on. We're going to welcome our longtime crowd member here, Diane. Diane is with us. Welcome to Star Self. I'll unmute you now. Okay, you're live with me. Let's go into your chart. I know we've looked at your chart in the past, but I want to look at you in closer proximity tonight. Oh, you know what, Diane? I forgot. I'm going to tell my story first. Will you forgive me?
I will.
I'll be back to you in a minute. I want to tell this story first. See, when I don't keep good notes, I will back to you, I promise. Watch it. I want you to listen to this. I want you people to hear this story really carefully. Okay? I've talked about it before, years ago. I want to tell it again for you that haven't heard it. It's the beginning chapter of my new book. The new book is totally based on this story. This is such a big deal. I want you to listen real carefully, especially John, and especially with people like Ray, have Aquarian bents. Okay, I think all of you will be understand this. Follow this closely. It's about 10 years ago. I have a 1 o'clock appointment in Pittsburgh to read on the phone to this woman in St. Louis. Don't have any Zoom back then. I'm reading for this Aries woman. She's nice, average lady. I'm reading for her 1 o'clock. I forget and I show up at 1:15. And she's got a 1 o'clock appointment. Watch the universal forces at play. She's got a 1 o'clock appointment with the HVAC man in the basement to deal with the heater at 1 o'clock. He's late. He shows up at 1:15. So we both start to work at 1:15. And I'm working with her. Long story short, I'm working with her. And I always find out a little bit about the parents to find out what kind of energy she had to deal with. And I found out her parents were loving and all, but they held her down. And what you don't do with an Aries is you don't caution an Aries. They jump first, they bump their head, they go, ow, then they learn. That's how they move. And you got Cancer parents and Capricorn parents. Well, honey, you better be sure before you jump. You take the pencil point and you ruin the point on the pencil. You dull them. They're sharp and they have to go on their instincts. So you learn this through time. So I'm working with her and I got this feeling as we go along, we start to realize more and more that this woman has been dulled by her parents. Good intentions, but she's lost her instinct. Now, while I'm talking, the dog starts barking really loud and the guy downstairs starts bang, bang, bang. Anybody heard this story? Okay, I'm glad you haven't. I think Erica did. Okay, so I'm on a cell phone and this bang thing's going on and I'm getting really pretty irritated because I'm trying to work psychically with this woman. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Bang, 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 woof, 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 woof. It's getting worse and worse and worse and I'm going on and on. And she's starting to become convinced that, yeah, they really did dull me, they held me down. My light really hasn't shone. Doggone it. She's getting in touch with this. And we're talking bang, 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 bark, 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 bark. So this is going on, and I realized what was happening. And that moment was the most important moment in my astrological career. That moment. Because I realized it was not the dog. There was no furnace. There was no dog. And I moved into the quantum field. And I realized what's happening. And this is what I'm trying to get to you. We're all in this at all times. You take a walk, there's nothing out there. It's all going on here. Don't ask me why we see it. I don't know how to explain it. It's not there. So, we're going. And I'm getting her to the point where she's, well, doggone, I'm going to do something about this in my life. I'm going to do what I want to do from now on. And she naturally goes back and forth. I don't want to. I do want to. I don't want to. Do want to because she's used to it. Woof, 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 bang, 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 bang. But now I'm not irritated anymore because I get this all the time with my readings. And what I realize is they don't want me to touch that sore spot. They do, but they don't. They do, but they don't. They want to solve it, but they don't. It's understandable. It's called the ego. So I say to her, lady, what is this guy doing downstairs in the basement? And she says, I told you, he's fixing the furnace. I said, I understand that. What is he doing specifically? She says, oh, the pilot light won't stay lit. That's all I needed. She tells me, I'm done. I'm going to talk with mom and dad. I'm going to go do my thing. I hear the sound of the guy putting his metal detachment all together, all his tools. He's clasping it. Here's your bill, lady. He thinks it's all fixed. Dog calms down. He walks out the door. I'm totally won. I'm just stunned at what I just saw. The pilot light won't stay lit. Now, the pilot light's going to stay lit. It ain't physical. So I start to go with this, and I'm going the next few months, the next couple of years, and I'm going and it's changing everything I'm doing. I'm doing a reading for a lady in the office, and I can't get it anywhere whether or not touch a certain subject in my office, and I touch that non-touchy subject that you can't touch, and I touch it. It's always split second. As soon as I touch it, vacuum cleaner starts running up against my door. Vacuum cleaner. And I realized that it's not a vacuum cleaner. It's the sound of what I just touched. Anyhow, long story. So, I think you got the point with that. So, months later, I'm driving down the PA Turnpike with my friend, and my friend is driving, and I am telling him the story, and I'm telling him about the new book, and how I want the new book to have a black cover with yellow writing, and instead of a diamond in the middle, I want the new book to have something shiny in the middle. He says, how about a pilot light? Of course a pilot light, right? And as soon as he says that, I'm laughing, he's laughing. We go around a turn, and within seconds, what do we see on the side of the road in the PA Turnpike but a broken furnace? So I don't listen to anything else anymore. I don't care what the story is. I don't care what the story is anymore. I hear you. I'm compassionate about what you think is the story, but I'm listening to what the real story is. And now, people start telling me about this accident that they had and stuff. And I go back to, what were you doing right before the accident? Okay? What were you doing? How did you draw this to yourself? And we're all, oh, that guy came over and he's fault, he came in my lane. How many light years would I have to keep driving to find a rusty old furnace on the side of the road? Do you see? That could not have ended without her making a promise to herself that in other words, he could not have fixed that light unless she had at the same time come to resolution inside of herself. And they're the same thing. They're the same thing. And that is how astrology works. It's not linear. And that's the level of the miracle that the Course in Miracles talks about. That's the level of the quantum and the holographic. And I'm not going to go on anymore about it, except to say that that kind of experience is every day with me now, because I listen for what's happening. Now, I'm so sorry, Miss Diane. And let's get to you, because we're going to have your own miracles here. Okay, here we go. I hope you enjoyed that story, because I think
I did.
I think it's really incredibly important. Well, you're not Kamala Harris, so I'm sure you don't want to be either. Let's skip to you. All right. So what do we find right away with Miss Diane is, by the way, Eris is sitting at 24 of Libra, and there's another one out there, another brand new planet called Haumea, and she's sitting about 28 of Aries. So she's right there while Eris is here. Got two new planets, and you're right in between them. But she's a good guy. She's the planet of fertility. I don't know much about her yet, and I'm certainly not putting her on my chart yet, because I'm just getting used to putting Eris there. All right, so what's happening to you? Pluto is coming to 24, making a right angle to your sun. It's going to make a right angle to your Venus. Then it's going to make a right angle to your Neptune at 1 degree, and then it's going to oppose Uranus. So over the next several years, Pluto and Saturn are going to create a grand cross in your chart, opposite Uranus, right angle to these three planets. This means to me clearly that you are now ready to resolve this triangle. Well, you can't resolve it till you know what it means, so that's my job. I'm going to try to dissect it for you. So I told you everything's happening 24 cardinal, 24 Capricorn, 24, 25, 26, Aries, up here, up here. And where's the United States Pluto return going to be? 27 Capricorn. The return is going to be at 27, just squaring you at this time. So what do I got to say to you is, yes, you're going to feel the collective change, and yes, you're going to feel the American collective change. At the same time, you're getting it in your chart. So what this means to me is you are coming together. She said, yeah, damn right. Yeah. I got an Aries here. You're darn right. That's true. All right. Now, I want to say something because it took me a couple of minutes in the last few days to get reminded about the big planets. One of the things that's happening now, well, there are two things happening now. One, people are going over the edge that have been dancing close to the edge for a long time, and they need to go over the edge because that's the way they want to be. You can't stop it. You can't feel bad for them. They want to go somewhere else. They don't want to be here. They don't want to do their work. They're going over the edge. Towns, countries, cities, same story. They are. Do you see it around you? People with long-standing issues that they keep messing with and they haven't solved, they've been warned so many times during this Pluto last 12 years, and now get down or over the edge. Secondly, we're all becoming more powerful. We're becoming more powerful. Now, in Diane's life, let's get back to her chart. All right, let's use our, okay, students, let's get out our pencil. Put that pen away. Get our pencils out. All right. Thank goodness the Sun and Venus are opposite Neptune, but it's not too close. It's close enough, 3 degrees, and they're out of sign. Neptune is not in Libra, which is opposite Aries. They're in a different sign. So it's weakened a little bit, and we don't want the Neptune to be too strong. Okay, what the Neptune does opposite Venus and opposite Aries is it makes her very Piscean, which is why she's interested in this stuff. Typical Aries aren't interested in this stuff. They're busy outside with a machete making their own path. When your Sun and Venus are opposite Neptune, And who's the boss? Neptune's the boss. The Sun thinks it is. That's the truth with all Aries. You have to make them think they're the boss, but they're not. Okay, Sun, Venus opposite Neptune. What does this mean? This means that every time she tries to be herself, she tries to, that instinctual fireplace, that instinctual Aries, me, let's go do it. I'm amazed about myself. The Neptune comes in, no. Us. We're going to think about you. We're thinking about us. So she has a natural inclination to think about myself, but then to think about us. Think about myself, then it's us. Then myself, then it's us. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a problem. I've learned too much. She might do it real fast. She might give 10% of the time to the Venus, 10% of the time to the Neptune. She might work it out however she wants to. But in this lifetime, she has decided, she came into this life and put Neptune opposite her Sun and Venus. So she came into this life feeling like, spiritually, I've got to, how do I say this? The reason I got this is I couldn't put a sign in front of my head. So I put it on my hand, I'd see it. It's just a spiritual reminder. So that's what her Neptune is opposite her Sun and Venus. It's saying, don't get lost in just being you, the ego, and being separate. Because remember where you came from. Neptune. Now let's stop right there because I guarantee you this is all part of the plan before you took this life. Does this make any sense to you?
Absolutely.
Tell me in your words.
So I would say that for a big portion of my life, I have not been really able to focus on myself for a number of reasons. I learned early on to go with the flow,
Right.
be what people wanted me to be the good girl. And it's really not, it's really not been until the last 3 years, really, that
Okay.
I feel like I'm finally coming in.
All right, now let's stop because this is really important. I want to dissect a few things. Aries instinct is to be myself because I'm cool. Look at the things I can do. Neptune's instinct is not to stop you. Neptune's instinct is to remind you that you're just one of God's fingers, that you're really not a finger. Almost used the wrong finger. You're not really a finger. You're a part of God's extension. The Aries says, now I'm me. No, you're not. You're part of the hand. No, you're not. And it goes back and forth. So you went off on a sidetrack when you started talking about, I'm going to be what you want me to be. That's different than what I was saying. That's a Libra quality. That's a Cancer quality. I will be who you want me to be so you don't leave me.
Yeah, I've got Libra rising.
Okay. Well, that's part of it. We're going to analyze it. Go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing is my dad is a minister, and so
hello.
Spirituality from the beginning, it's always been a huge part of my life. I'm an ordained minister, I'm a psychotherapist, so lots of focus on, taking care of other people.
Diane, I want you to remember, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. I want you to know that as soon as you said ordained minister, dogs start biting their nails. Okay, we're seeing a beautiful story unfold in front of us, I guarantee you. Let's keep working. All right, very good stuff to know. All right, so we got the Sun and Venus opposite Neptune. Now, all of this stuff, which goes back and forth between being, you notice when we wrote this book, we could not use the word selfish. We had to be very careful when we use the word reflective, self-oriented, other-oriented, self-oriented, other-oriented. And I'm amazed after 9 years, we've got no flap, none. I'm just shocked. Okay, but what happens? Self, other, now you got a T-squared of Uranus and Leo. Boy, that changes things. Look at the T-square. So when you're battling back and forth, self, other, self, everybody, here comes Uranus and Leo. Uranus and Leo's, hey, I'm here. Hey, don't you see? Now we got a really interesting dynamic, and this is why you can't do the chart unless you do the 12th harmonic. You just can't do it, and they don't know about it. 99% of astrologers don't know about it. They don't believe that it's possible that the harmonic works, but it does work. And the 12th harmonic tells me where you've been, what you've been like before you took this lifetime. We're going to find out in a minute. Okay? Let's go back to you. Now, I better get your harmonics on the screen before I forget. And there they are. And we'll get to that in a second. All right. So what else do we see? We see a moon in Sagittarius, which is really harmonious with the sun in Aries. In fact, they're trying to each other, sun and moon, and Venus, sun, and Venus and moon are all trying to each other. This is really, really good. What this means is when she's doing something, you're not going to knock her off of what she's doing. She's just into it. There's a force field around her that's going, and you just ain't going to stop her. And if she's got the sevens rolling on the dice, get with her and rub her hands or something, because get it to rub off on you, because it's good luck. She's got like a fiery spirit. When the sun and moon are trying like that, you're just not going to stop her. As a matter of fact, sometimes she probably has to hire people to come and tell me to quit at midnight, because I get on a roll and I'll go till 6 in the morning, okay? Because it's so fiery. So it's a really good fiery combination, and that really helps you with the fight against the Neptune. Because the Neptune wants you, oh, go to church and pray for the sinners, and, you know, water yourself down a little bit. And this moon is that, okay? So you got a nice combination there. Let's continue. Really interesting. Sun next to Venus, real close, 1 degree. Very common. Sun next to Venus, somebody that enjoys life. They just enjoy life. What's sitting right on the descendant? Eris. This was not here till just recently. Eris is sitting here. This makes you what? It's in Aries. This makes you pro-goddess, pro-feminine. Don't give me this macho stuff. Get out of my way. That ain't fair. We're not putting up with it. So you can be very outspoken, which is probably one reason you like this show. Because I got Jupiter in Aries. Same degree. So is that right? You have this fever to, yes, see what the Black Lives Matter is doing and people are fighting back. You like it?
Absolutely. And I'm really, I've been like delving into all of the feminine power stuff for the last 2 years.
Very good. I would highly recommend that you read the book, Discovering Eris.
I have it.
You got it?
Just started it, yep.
Okay, the first half is heavy on mythology, but you need it because it's going to explain a lot to you about your feeling toward the public. So what's interesting about your chart is you're not a typical small Aries, because Aries can live in a very small world. There's only them in the chart. There's just them in the world. You don't live in such a solitary world because you got the Neptune, you got other factors that broaden you. Okay? And that's really what you want it to be. You have the best of both worlds. Plus you got the moon in Sag and you want to explore. She loves to travel. Where to? I don't care. I just want to travel. Okay?
That's what the moon, that today.
Just what the moon in Sag does. All right. Now let's go back. All right. Now we see we got a T-square to Jupiter. We got a Mars in Gemini, which means that she can do this and she can do that. She's a jack of all trades. And isn't it interesting? It's in the house of philosophy. So she got this jack of all trades in the house of philosophy. What does that tell you? That tells me that sometimes she has this philosophy on, sometimes she has that philosophy on. And people bug her about it, but she doesn't care. She put try that one, try this one, try that one. How's that work for you?
Well, what comes to mind is, so I, was obviously raised in the church, but my dad actually got interested in Edgar Cayce and meditation. And so I got interested in meditation and I kind of followed his path. We did Silva mind control, but we did the charismatic movement before that. And, I've really been drawn to like the Eastern Buddhist teachings, but I still like the Christianity, so that it's like I can move back and forth between different.
Okay, that's marvelous. That's marvelous. And I want to remind you of something we have not discovered yet. Why you're getting a reading now.
Mm-hmm.
He's smart. He or she's smarter than I am. I don't know why. I just pulled you out of the hat. There's something happening to you. Big deal right now, because look what the planets are doing.
It's funny because I said to myself, you got to be on the show tonight.
Exactly. 2 weeks from now wouldn't be a big deal. But when these planets are stirring up so much, and they're saying, by the way, let's look at her chart. Okay, this is beautiful to watch. So I don't even know the answer yet. So let's keep working and we'll see. So far, you've got a problem with Neptune, and as time goes on, I keep seeing that the problem with Neptune is less and less. That's why you use a pencil. Okay, now let's go into this. All right, so you've got Pluto trine to the Sun, Pluto trine to Venus, almost exact. 28, 29, 28. This means not only do you not play King of the Hill with this woman, you go around the neighborhood and you tell everybody else not to get near the hill. Because she gonna whip your butt. She gonna get on top of the mountain. You ain't got a chance. You might get her down once, but you're gonna pay the price. And she's gonna get back up because she's powerful. She's really, really strong. This is an indication to me that you had a healthy relationship with your dad in the religion, where I have a lot of people that don't. Okay? I got to get all these messages off my screen. I have a lot of people that don't have the best of experiences when they have too much churchiness in their family. So you got this fireball chart. I want to look now to see if I'm missing anything. All right. We got the Pluto in a grand trine. Oh my God. Pluto to the moon, to the Venus, to the sun. It's a fire triangle. Okay, this is very simple. This is somebody who's a very, very advanced soul, in my opinion, spiritually. A grand trine with Pluto it means that she can handle power. Unlike the United States, who cannot. Give her a lot of power and she will hand it out right. She will give the money to the poor because of who she is. So we got to now find what has she been doing all these lifetimes? And this is where most astrologers would end. This is why the 12th harmonic is so big of a deal. We got to find out what's been going on in these past lives and what did she try to do when she took this lifetime. Another thing I want to say to you, and I've not said this in a long time. It's been my observation after a lot of years that about my opinion, about 80% of the people I read for have come back in this lifetime to deal with their karma. About 18% of the people have come back to help with the family karma, the group karma, AA karma, wife beater karma, whatever it is. It's been handed down to you. And there's been a lot of talk about how what you do affects your predecessors. And it's true, since there's no time. Then, in my opinion, the last 2 or 3% are people who've come back because they didn't have to. They've just come back to help. They're in that 2-3%. I think you're close to the 2-3%, or you're part of the group. I don't know. I don't know yet. We're going to see when we look at the 12th harmonic. But we can see that you're not just here to work on yourself. There's so much harmony in here. When I discovered the grand trine to Pluto with the sun and moon and Venus, it's unbelievable to think that some stupid planet out there is in this place and all this stuff means this. But it does. All right. Let me go into the 12th harmonic. Oh my God, and I knew it would be something. Here it is. Sun and Pluto together at the top of the chart. Look at that. And these people try to tell me that you cannot read a 12th harmonic chart. They try to tell me that they don't work. They don't work because you've never looked at them. Sun and Pluto opposite Saturn. I told you planets on the angles, right? Planets on the angles. Sun and Pluto Saturn means I will gladly carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. That's what this means.
Hmm.
I volunteered to do this. Okay, now, I'm not even going to bother looking through this chart because this is so critical. You got a T-square to Neptune. You got a Grand Cross. But this is, I've been leading many lifetimes, and I have volunteered to put the weight of the world on my shoulder. Okay, now we're going to get down to the brass tacks.
You're kind of breaking up, Rick.
All right, well, I don't want to break up, so let me put myself back together. All right. I want you to look at the meaning of this. When you're sitting with your spirit guides, your guardian angel, and you're reviewing all your lives, which is the 12th harmonic, and you're realizing these are the things I got to do in my next lifetime, so I'll get through the pearly gates. These are the things I think I need to have lessons in. I'll get raped when I'm 4. I'll get raped when I'm 9. I'll kill somebody when I'm 12. All these things are set up ahead of time. I had one today that was raped at 2.5. And when I said it, she was stunned, and I was stunned too. You obviously have been carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder for a long time. But looking at the birth chart, what do we see in the birth chart? Because in Course in Miracle terms, you're not helping anybody by carrying the world on your shoulders because you're already the world.
Mm.
It's a martyristic thing, and it's the ego. That's what it is. So that's why you put Neptune opposite the sun. Neptune saying to you, well, Miss Diane, you've been really doing well for a long time. Well, we've got to really make sure of your intentions. So I'm going to put Neptune opposite your sun and your Venus in case you think you're going anywhere. It's right there. So now we know what makes your chart tick. Now we don't even need to go any further. I told you, let me just remind you because I go too fast sometimes. All right, in your birth chart, 28, 29, 0, 1, 2. 28, 29, 0, 1, 2. Pluto and Saturn are sitting at 24. Then they're going to go to 25, then 26, 27. They're going to have the Pluto return for the whole country. 28 starts hitting your sun. 29 hits your Venus. Then it crosses over into Aquarius. Whoo! It smacks your Neptune, and then it starts to square Uranus. So we see that during the next 4 years, what's happening now is we're starting to find out why this reading happened. Okay? The reason why is this is a heads up for you to get yourself in perspective, because you're going to be facing so many people losing it, Americans losing it, because they're going to want America back on their little pony. It ain't coming back. At the same time, you're going to be dealing with you. And the Diane is all about. The Diane made really great progress, but she finally saw finer. She saw clearer that this carrying the universe on her back was an ego trip. And it takes a lot of gumption and self-honesty and dignity to see that. So you've got now until these next several years to process that. And it's nothing to be blamed about. It's nothing to feel bad about. And a lot of religions think it's real honorable to be martyristic. And we put these things called statues up everywhere about this stuff. But what we learn when we study the Course is all you got to change is you. You don't care anybody. Change you. And so what's happening now is you should now, in my mind, you should now, for the first time, be comfortable with Neptune opposite you. Now, my friends, this is how you do real astrology.
Say more about what you mean by being comfortable with Neptune opposite.
Well, very good question. You're going to start to see that it's your friend. Even though every time I sing a song, you're on the other end of the stage singing. Every time I get back on the stage, you're up there again singing. And I've been trying to get up there by myself. And every time you're there, I've got to start seeing that, okay, in this life, I am part of a duet. That's what this means. Instead of struggling, because the Aries ego, just like all the signs of zodiac, except Pisces, all the signs of zodiac will lie to you. See, if you hadn't listened to all that BS, we'd be out with the machete, we'd be carving our own path, they'd be writing stories about us. Look at what we would be doing. It's all crap. It's all crock. It's a crock. You remember, the original crock came from God, the fallen angel. God imagined, erroneously, he's not real, he imagined what it would be like to go play by himself. What would it be like if I separated? What would it be like, since I'm everything, what would it be like if I separated for a while? Thus, here's an Aries. Wow, look at this. See, it's so hard to understand, Aries, because it's so basic, so primal. And only after a long travail through the zodiac do we learn it was a waste of time, because you spend the whole time trying to get back. We confuse. I've been watching so much. I'm reading the new book by Nook Chancellor about the sacred relationships, holy relationships, as opposed to special relationships. She will be our guest on January 3rd, our 200th show. She will be the host. And she writes so much about the problems with special relationships, otherwise known as codependency. I'll make you special if you make me special. And boy, she just shoots arrows. She just shoots arrows in this story. And she talks about the holy relationship, which is the big boy shoes. You know, it's the purity trip. It's the ripping the ego apart and taking that dive to go back from where you started. So I don't know why you've done what you've done. But I do know what I see is your past life was very noble, and I think you got to the point where you just couldn't carry on anymore. You're just carrying too much stuff for so long. And also, I think, and this is a verification tonight, this is a verification that it was just wrong. I'm real glad that you were helping people out, but you don't have to do this anymore. You don't, because what you are doing, let me see if I can get this straight. What you are doing by carrying everybody else is you are going to God. You're saying, why did you make these people stronger? I got to carry them too? See what I mean? We don't think that way because we watch too much Rin Tin Tin and Cagney and Lacey, whatever show it is about the hero coming in, right? You didn't need to carry anybody at any time. You didn't need to. But we got to remember how you were trained. And we all got this dogma in us. And the dogma that I really work on, what I think my job is, from looking at my show, and having this show, I'm here to teach people, in my opinion, just do what you want. Quit listening to all the stuff you were told. Quit listening to people that tell you how to behave. You have a natural smile. You're not smiling because you're supposed to smile. So your response.
Well, so I was in technology, then I was home with kids for 10 years, and then I went back and got my master's degree, and I've been a therapist for about 15 years. Always felt like I loved my job. And I've noticed in the last couple weeks, maybe month, I'm not sure I want to do it anymore.
Okay, let's rephrase that last sentence.
I don't want to do it anymore.
I don't want to. Not this. I'm not sure. I want to do it. Who's that talking? Eris. Why is she saying that? Eris got screwed. She went to the party and she wasn't invited. All the kings and queens are in there, whatever they are, the divas. So she threw a golden apple through the window. All the gods are in there except her. She's left out. And it said, who's the most beautiful at this party? And they all started tearing each other apart. I am. So she's the radical. She's the radical. She's not putting up with the games. Now, I will say to you that it's no coincidence that you want down from this job. At the same time, you're taking the Saturn and Pluto down. You see? They always work in sync. That's why the zodiac's exquisite. One of the reasons.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, one of the things.
You don't want to do this job anymore. And I will tell you, if you continue, it would be very dangerous.
And it's funny. Yeah.
It would be dangerous because you're fighting the inner self doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. Whew, that'd be a big change though. Wow.
All right. That's where part 2 comes in. And that's the tough part, that everybody have to keep moving these messages out of the way. Okay. Now, here's the tough part. John could probably tell you about this. Where am I going to go if I quit this job? What am I going to do? Well, you got 2 problems. 1 is there is no I. And 2, you can't lead yourself. 3, your only choice is what, Doc?
You don't know what anything is for.
What's
You're
the
not
S?
a victim.
What does the S word start with? What word?
Sacrifice?
Surrender.
Surrender.
Word you had up last
Yeah.
week. And
Yeah.
surrender doesn't mean I'm giving in, I'm beat. Well, she's the king of the hill. She ain't gonna give in to anybody. Okay? Surrender means I can't guide myself. I was talking to a lady today, and man, she was really smart. And I hit her with one that she couldn't believe. And she did a backflip. She said she prayed a lot. I said, tell me what kind of prayers you do. I said, most prayers are I'm making a deal. If you do this, God, I'll give you that, or I'll do this and I'll quit smoking. Most common type of prayer we have is, please do this. Well, do you ever think of this? Please help my little 6-year-old with leukemia to get better. Why do you have to ask God to do it? You mean if you didn't say something, he was going to go ahead and kill her? She went, oh my God. I said, you don't have to pray for something that's already there. You don't have to pray. He's already got the intention to do the best for the child. And that's why when you read the course talks about prayer in these kind of terms. And this is Nook Sanchez, the pro, and she will be with us to really lay it on thick. And her new book is really marvelous. The proper type of prayer, according to Nook, is this. I'm not going to get into all of it, but it's, I don't know what to do with this situation. I don't know what to do. I'm giving it to you because you're all seeing and I'm not. And please show me another way of looking at it. That's what prayer is. This is my opinion. It's not, please help John, he's got leukemia. Please let my team win, we're down by a run. It's ridiculous. Please help me see another way of looking at it. What we're seeing has happened now. We've gone whole cloth now. We've gone completely around the arena now. What we see in your chart is you can now take off the heavy lead weights off your shoulders. You thought, I'm not going to judge you, you thought, and it benefited you, that you had to carry all this weight for all this time. You must have some badass muscles. You must be tough because you have carried it for a long time. And what we found out at the end, not only are there no pearly gates to begin with, that's a lie, but you didn't have to carry anything. But you thought you did, just like the rest of us. The rest of us are doing all our little things that we think we got to do to get in the pearly gates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we don't have to. So what do you think?
Well, I definitely have felt a shift over the last couple years of it doesn't have to be hard.
Exactly.
I don't have to work so hard. I don't have to earn it. It can be easy and graceful and fun.
And if it's not, something's wrong. I got a friend of mine that everything she does is just such an effort. It's just unbelievable. She's very talented. She's done a lot of good things. And I started thinking today, man, when does this tire out? Woo!
Yeah.
I took one look at your 12th term. I went, oh, Pluto sitting up at the top and Saturn sitting at the bottom. Right there.
I'm not sure what that means, but I take your word for it.
Pluto opposite Saturn means I'm carrying the weight of the world on my
Okay.
shoulders. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Astrologically, when you have to look up a royal and find out what does it really mean, that's the center of it. It means Pluto Saturn people just have hardship. They have a lot of hardship. They try to make it easy, it ends up being hard.
Mm-hmm.
And why does it end up being hard? It ends up being hard because that's how you want it.
Yeah.
That's how you want it. Us Americans don't want to believe this stuff. Oh, but I'm really a victim. Don't tell me I'm not. I'm not a victim. So I think tonight is a marvelous night. I knew it would be just looking at your late cardinal degree planets.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people have read my warnings in the past couple of months, and they've looked at these days as, oh, look what's happening to you. Marvelous liberation.
Well, and that's really how I've looked at all of this going on, that it's actually part of, transformation, higher consciousness. Can be rough, but
dear, I'll tell you something. We need you teaching. That's why you got to get out of this job of fooling with a computer. All kind of people can fool. I did it for 20 years. We don't want you fooling with a computer. We need you teaching all these people that are close and they need a little budge. Okay? Because what's happening to you, taking this big load and turning it positive, is exactly what the American people need to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're all sitting here under the weight of this unbelievably callous monkey god, whatever he is, and we're all just like, we're just letting this guy bully everything. We can stand up. We got the power. We got the power to flick this guy to the side. Look how powerful the Congress is. Doing nothing. So you gotta wonder what's in store for the real Pluto return for the country. Because you got the danger and you got the wonderful potential both. Who's going to win? See?
You're breaking up again, Rick.
Go ahead. What? I lost you.
You froze there for a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that you kind of flicked there. Well, the same kind of thing is happening at your level is happening at the macro level, both the country and the world. Pluto and Eris are square for everybody, 7 billion people. But Pluto square Eris on the Pluto return is only Americans. So it's all going on, it's all happening. And Claudia's over here with her hands like this, and I think that's very good. It's a very good sign. These things are all important. I think that's a sign for her that's coming together for her too, in her world with her power. What am I seeing with people?
Marsha's doing it too.
Well, Marcia's born that way. I think this is a sign. How do I put it? I get enthusiastic, and if I'm off the wall or if I'm out of position, tell me. I don't care, because I'm not going to stop. That's just who I am. I'm just not going to stop. Jesus said we need teachers. You know, and when you teach is when you learn. Go ahead, dear.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say that really, I think, reflects a lot of what you've been saying is my life has felt very tough for most of it. Tough relationships, you know, painful, heartbreak. And I really have felt in the last, again, couple years, like there's just been this turn and now life is feeling good. I'm not in a relationship. I'm feeling great. I'm finding myself. I'm, you know, excited about I'm 63, you know, but I'm excited about what the rest of my life holds. So
well, at 63, you're 3/4 of the way through your Uranus cycle, and you're going through your second midlife crisis. And Uranus, you know, Uranus, when you're born, age 21, age 42, age 63. Uranus is squaring Uranus. And what's the question during Uranus transits? What have I been doing? Have I been allowed to be myself while I've been doing it? And you're getting the answer now, no. But I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to change it. So that's what's happening.
I have to laugh.
Because Uranus has been active about 3 years.
Yeah.
In Taurus. So I think this is very good. It's very, very good. I think you have a lot to offer. I don't think, this is the tough part. I don't think that there's anything you need to do. It's going to come to you.
Well, that's pretty much what I've been trying to do is just kind of show me the next step. Like, you know.
You're going to be told. You're going to be shown. And who has the faith that they will be shown are the Pisces people. And you've got the strong Neptune.
Yeah.
Right? So the Neptune, if you listen to the Aries part, it's not going to tell you. It doesn't know. You need to listen to the Neptune part. And in order to listen to the Neptune part, there's only one thing you got to do. It's the heart of the Course in Miracles. You got to remove your obstacles. You sit there all day with a slide rule and a Cray computer, and you're not going to figure out anything or where you got to go. You're not, except in circles.
Yeah.
And as soon as you drop it, as soon as you get out of the way, what I found is, wow, the road's clear.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see it. But
actually,
when I hear that word figure, I get really worried.
I was just realizing that life started to feel better and feel like it's working. And I got excited when I started to surrender to, I don't know where I'm going, and, you know, I'm not going to try and figure it out. I'm just going to be led and be open. And
it's very, very simple. We're in the front, and they're taking little Kodak pictures, and we got our little wheel that goes round and round and round. And all this time we think we've been driving.
Yeah.
And we look in the back seat, and there's this dude back there going like this.
Yeah.
I got this. I got this. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you can minimize it any way you want, but that's the story, and that's why you had the reading. And I knew it would be wonderful, and it really is. It's a really good sign. And also with Claudia going like that, it's a really good sign that she's in a similar place.
Well, I am just so glad that I followed my intuition and got on here tonight. And thank you so much.
Well, you are certainly
A
welcome.
real gift.
You are, like I said, the third thing that I do with people is pass out diplomas. Because you've done it. You've done the work. You just got lucky enough to have somebody in front of you who could explain it, show you. And I really think it's right. I think it's right.
Feels
It
right
feels
on.
good. What do you
Yeah.
think, John? Unmute yourself.
I'm
I've been doing a lot of talking. What do you think about all
really
this?
impressed with this reading.
Huh?
I can really relate to it. I'm very impressed with this reading and with Diane, and I can really relate to this. And I'm somewhat in the same position. I'm 78. I just retired. I've had the Course in Miracles like up the wazoo. And so I'm waiting to be led.
Well, that's the tough part, you know, and what I tell people is this is a know-how reading, a know-how, because you ain't allowed to ask how. Know-how, because you can ask. Every single thing that happens, what do we say? I don't know, it just happened. That's what we say. I don't know, it just happened. Anyhow, bless you all. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful stuff. We might as well stop right there. I'll let you know if I got the question out to Linda, if she's going to do the Healy. Ooh, amazing little guy.
How do you spell that?
Like the word heal with a Y at the end.
Okay.
Healy. It's just rocking the place. They can't even get him out fast enough. It's just going crazy. It's also
Rick, can I just ask something?
yeah.
Isn't it true that like after like January, February, a lot of things are going to start going forward? So all of us that are waiting to get this, you know, download are going to be getting it around that time?
No.
So at least we have that we
No.
can kind of look forward to?
No. It's a real myth. It's a bunch of BS that they teach you about, forward and backward. Every year, the planets go backward for 5 months and they go forward for 7 months. The major planets. The ones that are weird are Venus and Mars. But every year, the major planets go forward for 7, backward for 5. So in general, when the planets start to go forward, you will start to pick up, it's not a download. What happens in a retrograde? I found this to be real clear one day. I was working with a woman. This woman kept pressing and pressing, and I saw these planets going towards her midheaven, and she was pressing and pressing to get this done for her job and all this, and the planets were stopping, they were pulling away. And what they were doing was so fascinating. They were pulling out of her 10th house and going back into her 9th house. What does that mean astrologically? You're coming out of the job, you've been in the job, but you need to go get some more learning. So what was happening was she needed the retrograde period to do sharpening her skills. And she actually did that. She went back and got some more learning on certain courses. Then when the planet came forward again, she was more ready, but she had a sharp tool. You see? So it's not this magical thing of somebody's keeping a secret from you. They're going to download the big stuff when it goes forward. That's not how it works. Okay? The planets, all of you are feeling this wonderful stuff. You're all feeling this huge shift, and we're in the middle of this big shift with this idiot playing with all of us, and he's really, really dangerous. Look at it every single day. What do we got to deal with now? This is all symbolic of we have not taken being a country seriously. We just haven't. But now we're picking it up. And my dear Diane, you need to find it. I don't know how it happens. You're going to be a teacher. You need to be teaching. Bless everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, Marsha Bud, too.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Claudia.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, John. I
Bye-bye.
gotta find
Good night,
I
everyone.
gotta find all my buttons there.
Thank you again, Rich.